here. Hello, everybody, from our humble office here in Florida. 1 minute, just wanted to get one thing straight in here. We're doing this using solar energy and
Oh,
wind power. That's why I had to open up the solar energy as a surprise.
wow.
Welcome to the Americana Bistro Grill. I'm your host, Roberto Alvarez-Galloso, serving you the best of Americana music. I have here one of the half of the duo Appalachia Moderna, Jeffrey Scornavacca.
Hey, Roberto.
Okay,
How are
for
you?
me, it's a pleasure and an honor having him here. And let's face it, Appalachia Moderna has been making waves in the Americana music. And plus, some of the videos on YouTube are really great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Okay,
it.
Jeffrey, my biggest question for you is this following. Number one, how did Appalachia Moderna get started? How it is right now, and what's the future?
Well, so Jade and I met via a website called Songtown, and we were both looking for writing partners, and we connected there, and we connected just as the pandemic was getting started. And so we wrote online first, and we really enjoyed writing with each other. And then that out of that came as kind of a surprise. It was called Time to Fly. It was our first release that we did, and and I thought we were writing a bluegrass tune at first, but then it turned into I had another idea for how it might go, and um, and so I sent it over to Jade, and I was like, "You're either gonna love this or hate this." She ended up really liking it. So it ended up being, I was like, well, we should release this, and blah, blah, blah. So we came up with Appalachia Moderna as our name. And we liked that name because it had Appalachia, because there's acoustic instruments in what we do. But Moderna, there's also electronic and current production elements is what we do. So we thought that name like kind of covered, both of what we're explained kind of what we're all about pretty well. Um, so Jade and I wrote, together on Zoom all through the pandemic, and then I was out in Denver for the Durango Songwriters Expo, and we actually met in person for the first time, like about a year or so ago. But it was just very funny, just to, the whole operation's been over Zoom, and we'll sit and write over Zoom and write with other people, and then I'll do some of the production, and then she'll go and sing it, do a bunch of vocals, and send it back to me, and I'll mix it.
Mhm. And how is the future for Appalachia Moderna? We've talked about the past, the present. How do you see the future, like in terms of CDs, videos, concerts?
Well, unfortunately, we're probably not going to do many concerts in the future, just because we're just so far apart. We're 2,000 miles apart. But we'd like to have a CD come out in the future. We have our 13th release is coming out on June 18th, I believe. It's called Sacred Dirt. It was written with Ellie Rivers as well. We're super excited about that one. Um, yeah, and we have another one in the works as well, that we hope will get out probably July, August or so. So we're trying to get one out there every 8 weeks or so. At this point, we're really trying to make.
Sacred Dirt. What it inspired you to record Sacred Dirt? What was the inspiration behind the CD?
So so Sacred Dirt it's just a single at this point. But the do you know the TV show named Bosch? It's a detective show. I think it might be.
I've heard about it, but
Anyway, but he's talking about in the show. He's talking about like they found his mother was killed, and they found her burial site out in the desert somewhere, and he's talking to his daughter about it, and he goes something like, I've come to believe it doesn't really matter where you're buried, as long as your people know where you are, it's all sacred ground. And I was like, wow, sacred ground. And I started thinking about sacred ground, sacred dirt. And then I was like, and then I was just thinking about if someone had just lost somebody, they would say, they might say they can take away our, you know, um, they could take away our hurt uh, in the sacred dirt or something. And we started with that idea, and then it just kind of moved into the song as it did. But it's kind of funny. It's funny where you find, as Tiffany can tell you, right? It's funny where you find inspiration for things,
Yeah.
and it's funny where you can find, ideas for song titles, even if it's not a direct correlation. Um, that I saw a picture the other day. It was online. It was a picture of a librarian, and it was a very suggestive picture. But I just thought that would be a great idea for a song. It's just like, the crazy librarian, you know. So just things, inspiration strikes you wherever it can. You just need to be open to it.
Okay. Where can we find Appalachia Moderna?
We can find Apple Image on all. We're certainly on Spotify. We're on Apple Music. We're on all of the streaming sites. I think we're on 52 streaming sites at this point. You can find us at AppalachiaModerna.com, and I can send you all this information later on. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. Those are the two big social media platforms that we're on. I think we're on Threads now as well. But those are the best places to find us on Facebook and Instagram. That's so you can keep up with the latest and greatest of what we're doing.
Yeah, we're going to be keeping up with the latest, greatest of Appalachia Moderna, along with all the other Americana artists.
That's great.
I want to dedicate this interview to one person who made this possible, because if it were not for her, this interview would not have occurred. I dedicate this interview. Well, first and foremost, I dedicate it to my wife. But second, I also dedicate it to Tiffany Gassette, one of the promoters of Americana artists. It's because of her that I've been able to interview Appalachia Moderna and also Ben Brady, I think. So I just wanted to thank Tiffany Gassette. And in addition, visit her site and visit her Spotify as well. And also, please visit us at all of our websites here in Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Rumble. We're all around, and we're hoping to get on Spotify as soon as possible.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jeffrey. Go ahead.
I was just to say, Tiffany is so wonderful, and she's a great songwriter. And she was involved with the local songwriters group here for a while, NSAI group. And I always loved her being involved in it. She just brought such great, positive energy to the group. And she always could find, something that you brought song-wise that was, she always could find some positive thing that you some germ of brilliance that you brought to it, no matter what you brought to that day. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed her energy. It's the only time I get to see her these days is when we're out, and ironically is when we're out at the Durango Songwriter Expo.
I made a mistake in one of the songwriters. I wanted to thank Tiffany not only for Appalachia Moderna but also for Brady Beard. Who was also because of her, I interviewed you of Appalachia Moderna and Brady Beard. I almost forgot, because the solar energy here is very. We have about 101 degrees Fahrenheit, 41 centigrade.
Wow.
And somehow the wind energy did not keep up with the solar energy. I'm not using any electricity. Right here, we're just seeing it. We're just feeling it right now.
Sure.
So, again, I want to thank you very much for coming in to visit the Americana Bistro Grill. Any other Americana artists that want to be interviewed, we will certainly invite them. And in addition, I also want people to subscribe to us. If we're in the Americana Bistro, but we're under Alvarez-Galloso in the YouTube channel. Please
Okay.
subscribe to us and visit us. We're here, we're there, and we're everywhere. And please
Thank
support independent artists.
Thank you for your support. We appreciate it.
For me, it's a pleasure and an honor. This is Roberto Alvarez-Galloso from the Americana Bistro Grill. And peace in, peace out, and peace everywhere.
Take care, folks.